Hi everyone and welcome back, and it's so good to see you all again. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video than I normally do. Today's video is discussing why we retired, why we're traveling, and the big one is the struggles living with PTSD. This is my story and our story. So I'm just walking around some of these little streets to tell you the story. It's raining today, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. We're getting a little bit of rain at the moment. So we'll start our story and what brought us to where we are today, and how our life changed. So the day was the 23rd of September. Oh, there's a car. 2021, and I was working for a government agency, and I'd been with that government agency for 16, 17 years. And I thought I'll retire in that job with a good super and a good long service package. That all changed, unfortunately. The day started as normal. So I woke up and it was time for me to go to work, which was up in a place called Mossman, which was just out of Cairns. I had the government car. Now the government car was a brand new car. It was a Mitsubishi Outlander. So all the mod cons, all the new impact zones in the car, etc. So the day went along as usual, and it was time for me to finish my shift up there and head back to Cairns. Now along the way there's different speed zones, so 60, 80 and 100 k's. And I was travelling along in the 100k zone doing around about 90 kilometres per hour. There was a small vehicle in front of me, a small truck, and as I was travelling along I could see a vehicle veer on to our side of the road, so on the incorrect side of the road. And within split second, that vehicle, which was an old Ford Ranger, hit the back of the truck in front of me. The truck veered left, and the vehicle then continued on and hitting me head on. I was told by emergency services a little while later that the impact would have been around 80 to 90 kilometres per hour. Yeah, so woke up in the vehicle after the impact after a little while. Don't know how long I was unconscious for, and all the airbags had gone off, and the whole cabin was full of like little things in the air. It's hard to explain. It's probably all the dust and all the powder from the airbags. I couldn't get myself out of the car from the driver's side, so I had to try to get out from the passenger side, which I was lucky enough to be able to do that. The accident zone was quite horrific, as you may be aware, at the impact of two vehicles at that speed. And I remember walking up to the other vehicle. My vehicle had spun around 180 degrees and was facing the other way, and the other vehicle had done the same. And I remember walking up to the vehicle, and unfortunately there wasn't much left of that vehicle because it was an older vehicle, so it didn't have all the modern cons for high impact. The vehicle had a passenger and a driver, and it was quite bad. The passenger was conscious, but he was quietly badly injured, and the driver was slumped over the steering wheel. And I remember people helping the driver to try to get out of the car, and he came to, and I was in front of where he was sitting, and I remember him just staring at me, just looking at me, and then he fell unconscious again. At that point in time, I was told afterwards by a witness, I fell to my hands and knees. That was the time where my brain shattered, if you could sort of say that. It's where a friend of ours that's actually a psychologist sort of explained it, is where you have a sheet of glass that has a picture of you fully intact and the world around you, and it is dropped on the ground and falls into millions of pieces. Now with PTSD, the issue is trying to get that picture of yourself back to where it was previously and trying to make the same picture, which is very difficult, and it's been very, very difficult for me. That picture has never been the same of myself and the world around me, unfortunately. I don't remember much after that. A few days later, this was the hardest part, which always upsets me when I talk about it and think about it, is the driver passed away due to his injuries. Even though emergency services, family and friends have explained to me many, many times it wasn't my fault, it's hard to live with the feeling that you were part of the action of someone passing away. And it's something that I have to live with the rest of my life. So it took many, many months for me to, through counselling, to work my way back to work. And when I did get back to work, I was unable to do it due to the mental issues that I was having, as my job was actually taking people for driving tests, and it was very, very difficult for me. So that's what brought Karen and myself to make the decision to retire. So we both decided to leave our jobs, and I'm unable to get my super because I'm too young for my super, unfortunately. The government won't let me take it out. And I had to use my long service leave, and that was taxed heavily, unfortunately. We sold everything. We sold our house, we sold our cars, we sold all our furniture. So all our prized possessions we sold to fund us in our retirement. We had just been to Sanur, Bali for a few weeks and thought, yes, look, that's not too bad, not a bad place. So this is one regret that I have. I sort of was the instigator to moving to Bali, and Karen wasn't quite sure. So in hindsight, I wish that hadn't happened, and I blame myself for putting us in that position. So let's go back to retirement. So we eventually sold the house. We did rent it out for a little while, and that helped us stay as a retired couple in Sanur. We eventually sold the house because the people that were living in there actually wanted to buy it, so we decided to sell it. And we invested the money. So what we are doing, we're actually living on the investment that we invest. But as you may be aware, we also bought a villa in Bali. We're actually renting that villa out for 12 months to a lovely couple that we know. After the 12 months, I think we'll probably sell that villa, as we'd like to move on and finish with that part of our life of Bali. Now, don't get me wrong, Sanur had some lovely things. Some lovely, lovely things. We had a routine there, which is really, really good. really struggling here in Da Nang to find my routine, where we had a great routine there. With the PTSD, I've had issues where I don't filter what I think anymore. I say things that probably I shouldn't say. And I want to talk about the elephant in the room. So I did a video a month or so ago, why we left Bali. I said a few things that people were very upset about, and I want to apologise for that. I didn't mean to upset people, and I didn't mean to upset some subscribers as well, and I sincerely apologise for that. And in hindsight, I wish I hadn't put that video up. It has been edited quite substantially now, and a lot of things removed. So, the PTSD has really changed my life, changed how I am, changed who I am as a person. I'm very, very lucky to have Karen as my support and as my rock, because she is the most wonderful person in the world. It's been a hard road. It's been difficult for Karen and myself. Karen has said on many occasions that I have changed a lot. Probably not for the good, unfortunately. She says my memory isn't as good as what it used to be. I forget a lot of things. I forget a lot of words, and you may see that sometimes in my videos where I'm trying to find a word, but I just can't find it, if you know what I mean. It becomes difficult for me. So that's why we decided to retire. I miss working. I know it's a funny thing to say, and that's something you have to think about when you retire. You miss the camaraderie of work colleagues, the banter in the office, having a structure. My job was very structured, and now it's nothing. I have no structure, and I find that very, very difficult. In Sanur, as I said, I had a routine. Here in Vietnam, I just haven't found that routine and struggling very hard. I'm lucky to have Karen to fall back on. Very, very lucky. So let's talk about traveling. So we decided to travel because on that day in 2021, the emergency services explained to myself and to Karen that I was lucky to be alive. I do have the mental issues of PTSD. I do have injuries that will be there probably forever. Neck, hip, and also my lower back. But I still have my life, and I can still spend time with my beautiful wife, Karen. So we decided God was telling us something. God was looking over me that day. So we decided, let's travel the world and let's experience different cultures, experience different lifestyles, meet new people. Who knows where the travel will take us? As I said, Sanur had some wonderful things. We enjoyed walking along the beachfront with the atmosphere and the vibe at night time. We enjoyed sitting down after our walk, having a cuppa and jumping in our private pool. There are some things that we really, really do miss. Trying to find those things in other locations may be difficult, but as I said previously, Sanur is a lovely place, and I'm sure if you wanted to retire in Sanua, your story will be different to Karen and mine. Everyone's story is always different. So from where we go from here, we don't know. We decided to become slow travellers. See the world, meet new people, see new lifestyles, see new things, and indulge in new cultures. It's been a hard few years, been very emotional, and I live with what happened every day. I see visions of the horrific scene every day. I won't go into much discussion about the scenes. It was pretty bad. So I think from here on, Karen and I are just going to enjoy life. We're going to enjoy each other's company. We're going to live life to the fullest, because you just don't know what is around the corner. If you're looking at retiring, have a good think about what you want to do, where you want to go. Find your happy place before you decide to settle. Maybe test the waters. Stay there for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months before you decide to go full on like we did. Also, very important, you just don't know what's going to happen around the corner. So I think if you take the leap of faith, give it a go. Remember, if you do have ties back in your home country, whether it's Australia or America, Canada or Europe or even in Asia, you can always go back to family. Family is always there. So that's our story. We've been asked many times why we're retired and why we're travelling and what brought us to this point in time. And that's it. So, you know, a couple of things we regret. We regret selling our house in Australia. We wish you hadn't have done that now. We wish you just had to rent it out, because then we've got a home base to go to. We regret probably buying the villa. Maybe staying just renting would have been a better option for us. We do have that as a sort of investment, and we're recouping some money by renting it out, which is helping us live day to day while we're travelling. And as I mentioned, after the 12 months that the people are finished their lease, we'll probably sell that property, and from there on, I don't know what we'll do. But thank you for watching. Thank you to listening to my story today. And from here on, I don't know what I'll do with my videoing. I'm sort of lost. I sort of just haven't found my routine. I haven't found my mojo. I may continue doing apartments or just some walks around here. I don't think we'll stay in Vietnam, even though it's a beautiful place and it's beautiful people. We just haven't found our routine here. Where we're going to end up next, I don't know. We'll have to just see what happens. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you all on the next video. Take care, everyone.